Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Ultras 11. I'm Jose.
And I'm Alex.
Before we move further, you probably know what I'm going to say because I've been saying it the last, 15 episodes or something. We're going to tell you to go subscribe, like our stuff, whatnot, comment on it, do what you have to do. So take a moment, do that.
And we're good.
Now that we had that moment, let's get back to what we do best, which is boring you guys about talking about football and stuff like that. Last week, some stuff happened that we would have loved to have talked about, but one of us decided to get sick and miss the whole week. That was me. I was sick. Anyways, silly stuff, I know. So let's just kind of jump right into it, whatever, like we do best as usual. We have a lot to talk about. We have a new rule that's going to be coming to the sport called the blue card. We talked about it previously. We didn't really know much about it, but now it's actually like confirmed. It's in its testing era, whatever, stuff like that. We're going to talk about Champions League and our favorites to take it all. And of course, we're going to speak about the Ninja Turtles Final Destination, which is apparently happening. Locked. Here we go. Confirmed.
Done
but
deal. Here we go.
it's never actually confirmed. Mbappe is. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. Okay. So getting right into everything. This blue card thing. Okay. So let's just talk about that first. So essentially, now that we know about it, let's tell you what it is. It's a penalty box that these players go in for 10 minutes. So if there's something cynical, if there's some sort of, dissent towards referees or anything like that, they get sent to this box for 10 minutes, which is a blue card. The reason for this is simply to kind of stop players from arguing with the referees, tactical fouls, stuff like that. It's supposed to essentially make the players more disciplined in a sense. So before we actually dive into everything, if it's a good idea or not a good idea, let's actually break this thing down. And I question the validity of this statement and if giving people blue cards will actually help with the on-the-field antics. So I'll start off with that. Do you think it's something that will actually help out or not?
I mean, first things first, I think it's hilarious that when they were talking about the law and they were saying, oh yeah, now like they announced it that it's coming in and it's going to be tested and everything, they used like the Chiellini and Saka incident as an example, saying, so if by the way, if the blue cards were a thing, this would have been given a blue card and he would have been given a 10-minute penalty and the game would have changed. Yeah, well, if my nonna had a wheel, she'd be a bike, but she doesn't. So
here we are.
It's not. That's what it is. That just goes to show you just exactly how this coming in can ruin a game. Because you know what? At the end of the day, that wasn't a red card. Yeah, okay, a yellow card. But now you're going to be, if there was a blue card, that would have been given. And then, you know what? Now that guy being out for 10 minutes of the game completely changes the game. This thing coming in now, it's just another rule to ruin something that doesn't have to be touched. We've always talked about, how you can fix VAR and, them just announcing it or giving coaches, a flag or something to fight a certain call. Yeah. I mean, I might just be stupid and maybe you too, but those sound like pretty good ideas compared to adding in another card that literally does nothing. It's just going to make, things even worse. It's going to make, they're going to make bad calls that I guarantee, because things that, they're a yellow, a little bit more, but never even close to red. They're just gonna be like, you know what? No, that's a blue. Now you're gone for 10 minutes and your team has to figure it out for 10 minutes, play a man down. Like it just ruins the whole tempo of a game. Never been a thing in soccer. And it's not one of those rules that's like, you're adding it in, but it's not really affecting the game or changing the game too much. Yeah. It's not one of those. You're going to see the big, and I guarantee this thing does not last or does not stick with.
My stance is very weird. I'm like very much 50-50 with it. I think, I agree with you because I don't see a purpose of it. I feel like no matter what, you're still going to get those tactical fouls. You're still going to get people wasting time talking back to the referee. You're always going to get that stuff because it's a part of the game. And that's not a part of the game that needed to be changed.
A guy like Casemiro who complains and just tackles everything is going to be in the box the whole game.
Well, they do pile up. blue cards do pile up to amount to a red. So if you get 2 of them, it's a red card. If you get a yellow and a blue, it's a red. So like there's still like you can't just have the same guy keep on going in the sin bin or whatever. So like I guess like whatever, like I don't know. I think it could be a decent thing. It could be if it's used correctly. But that's the thing. That's the $1 million question. It's like VAR. VAR was supposed to be such a great thing.
How long have you been watching soccer for?
27 years.
How many times have they done things right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what makes you think this is they're gonna use this thing right and correctly and the way it should be and not just abuse it and not know what to do? So just give people it because you know what, it's better than not making the call.
And that's the thing, right? Outside looking in, I would look at you and say, you know what, it's not that bad of an idea because now like when you know your defender is wasting time, he's gonna tie his shoe now and this and that. Rather than giving that yellow, it's like, okay, you want to be a punk? Here's a blue card. Sit out for 10 minutes. Now the team trying to catch up has that advantage.
Something like that stupid doesn't deserve a blue card. Yeah. But the refs will give that just big. Oh, hey, you know what? You're tying your shoe. You're time wasting. Oh, here's a blue card.
But that's what I mean. Like I think I'm hoping the blue card isn't abused, which I know 100% it will be abused now. I think if it's used correctly, it's a good idea.
Dude, look at VAR now, man. Refs don't want to make any calls because they're like, hey, I don't want to mess up, so I'm just going to let VAR deal with it. Anything that's even close to controversial, hey, let VAR deal with it. And then if they call me to go check, I'll go look at the screen. Yeah. No referees just have the balls to make their own calls anymore. I get sometimes you get the call from VAR, but nobody has those balls anymore because of VAR.
Yes,
and that's what it's become.
And that's where that line is where I'm on the fence where I say it's a bad idea because I know the abuse of power that these referees will now have. You know, oh, you're talking back to me? Here's a fucking blue card and leave me alone. You know, like, and that's where I hate it because it's like now where do you draw the line of what is a blue card? You know, like we barely know what a yellow card is nowadays. We barely know what a red card is. You know, like we've seen yellow cards be given out when it should be a red card, like Saka. That foul, honestly and truthfully, I would honestly argue it could be a red. You know, I would argue.
Yeah,
but obviously being Italian, I don't want it to be a red, and I agree a yellow card is justifiable. But I'm saying like the grand scheme of things, like that's that fine line still. And the blue card is they're just gonna add to that, you know, because it's stupid. And you could see like it may be working out because then maybe just maybe people won't want to waste time or there won't be these stupid fouls or anything like that because then it's like, oh shit, I'm going to be missing for 10 minutes of the game, and that could impact the overall game. But
see now, you want to stop, you know, time wasting and stuff like that. Why not do something simple?
Stop the clock.
That they do in a lot of sports, just not soccer. Stop the clock.
Yeah.
Why not do that? You can't waste time if you stop the clock. If the ball goes out or they're waiting to continue play because the guy's tying his shoe, hey, clock stop. Hey, you're running your own time.
See, that's something they should be looking into. Not, oh, here's another yellow, here's a blue card, here's this, whatever. No, just stop the clock.
Yeah, no, because then because games are going to go too long. By adding these stupid things that you're just going to cause arguments and things to drag on, you're already making the game last longer. Now you're adding in the extra time to be 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
No, just do it like normal, 2-3 minutes, but you stop the clock every time the ball goes out or something happens, there's any incidents, you stop the clock. Yeah. Simple.
So the main concern from us clearly is we're on the same page where the overall tempo of the game will be affected, right?
But my thing's not even that, Joe. It's there's so many other rules, other things that you can add to the game or kind of tweak in the game that's already there. But no, they just like this is where they decided was, this is a good idea.
Yeah. Now I see that's where like I think like you already saw how VAR kind of ruined the tempo of the game.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know, you can't celebrate a goal for 5 minutes because you don't know if it actually is going to count.
And
you know, like you're just there like
off, like, you know, like before it's like, you know, you're down 2-0, you score a goal, you bring it right back to half, game starts right away.
Yeah, you build off
you have that momentum and the tempo still going. You're going now. It's like, okay, you score that goal, it's 2-1. You get back at half, you're waiting. Hold on, we're just checking. Hold on, 5 minutes go by. Oh, hold on, let me go check the screen. Okay, yeah, no, it's a goal. Okay, we're good. Okay, now continue. Everybody's all cold. Everybody's just sitting there waiting. Point.
But that's
like,
what I mean.
It's stupid.
I think that's one of the biggest things that this blue card being introduced is going to have an effect on the overall tempo of the game. And that's the thing. You want to maintain a tempo, stop the clock. I think that is the most simple, clear-cut thing you could possibly do to maintain tempo because that's the biggest thing, right? That's what everybody's complaint is that, oh, there's a lot of time wasting. We have to stop that. Let's give them a blue card. Let's do this. No. Just stop the goddamn clock.
Stop it.
A substitution's being made. Oh, let me take my shin guards off, take my tape off, untie my shoes. Round of applause for those guys in the corner. No. Now the clock stopped. Take your fucking sweet ass time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Game's still going, brother. Like,
or you do something like in let's just say like the first half, first 35 minutes, it's like regular, and then 35 to 45. Every time the play stops, clock stops. Like last 10 minutes. And you do the same thing for the second half. Even something like that, if they don't want to add too much time to the game or something. Like, I feel like we're coming up with a lot better ideas than this whole stupid blue card thing.
Like even in the World Cup, you saw the outrageous minutes of additional time.
15 minutes extra time,
and everyone's like,
minutes.
oh, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. You know what? I would prefer that over a blue card. Because to me, it's like, okay, now you're taking into account that guy wasted time. You're taking into account the celebrations, substitutions, this and that.
Every little thing.
You know, so like I kind of could understand that. Is it more demanding on the players' bodies and stuff like that? Yes. Because nobody wants to be playing an extra 40-minute game almost, you know? So I do understand that. That clearly didn't work. So just stop the clock then. Nobody's wasting energy. You're not still playing for all the time wasted. It's just a clock stop, boom. You don't even have to have stoppage time.
Yeah.
It's just 45 minutes, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Boom.
Actually, yeah, that's true. At that point, you don't have to. You have a 90-minute game, no stoppage time, but you stop the clock throughout.
Yeah. And how many times do we also see like, oh, this guy was subbed out? And I remember when I was younger, I learned there was a rule that for every substitution, 30 seconds is automatically added. That's why you would see at the end of the 90 minutes, you would see you at a minimum 3 minutes of added time, unless obviously a team was getting railed, whatever. You always saw that. But is that now taking into consideration 10 substitutions in total? Because if that's the case, we should always be having a minimum of 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But again, they didn't compensate for that. They're worried about the other part of the game where it's like this, like the cynical fouls. No. And I'm sorry, these referees have to have more of a spine.
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry, you went from having a guy like Colina that would get in your face, yell at you, like all the refs of that era, like
shit.
They didn't take shit. You want to push them, they'll push you right back. They got in your face, they didn't give a fuck. Nowadays, you tell a ref, go fuck yourself, it's game over.
No.
You're fined, you're sued, you're this, you're banned for 5 games, and they have zero spine. No, just maybe bring them to a class, let them be a little bit more headstrong, and that's it. And I get it, it's tough. You're refereeing 20 grown-ass men. And plus the coaches, it gets tough.
A lot of them have the big egos, or just you're dealing with superstars. It's a tough job. No one's saying it's easy, but man, they've had it before. They got to get it now, man. They need a fucking spine and a half.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. It comes down to that. It comes down to so many other things. That this blue card, like, it's not just us that says it. You've seen Ange Postecoglou come out and say it. You've seen Jurgen Klopp come out and say it. You've seen coaches, reputable coaches, come out and say how this doesn't even work. FIFA itself has come out and said this is insane. But yet we're probably going to see this. You know what I mean? It's already in the trial phase. So chances are it's going to get pushed through,
You'll probably see it in Serie A by next season, because we're always one of the first testers. So reason. But best league in the world, but we're still test dummies.
We'll talk about the best league. Maybe not today, but we will get around to that. Switching over to
the
Champions League football. It's not just Champions. No, I'm kidding. We're only going to talk about Champions League. Let's get real.
Man.
As much as I want to make this about you,
who cares?
Roma. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Roma. We'll talk about it another time. Champions League, European competitions, they're all back in full swing. Rather than reflecting on the results, the draws, and stuff like that, we're not going to bore you. We know you don't really give a shit about my in-depth analysis about a double pivot and a 4-2-3-1 and how it works better than a 4-3-3. We all get that. Maybe another day I'll talk about that. We're going to actually break down we're going to give you 3 teams that we think could win the Champions League. We're going to break it down for a little bit, talk about why we think that, their strengths, weaknesses, stuff like that, blah, 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 the works, you know what I mean? So we'll start with you, Al. What are your 3 teams to watch this Champions League that you think could win it all?
And okay, so we spoke about this earlier, and I was just saying, I was saying how it pisses me off so much now, because I watch Champions League now. Obviously, Juve's not in, so it sucks. it's a little bit easier because I get to enjoy the competition and not
Yes.
have to worry about my team in it.
Watch
and,
it
like,
as a neutral.
exactly. Like, well, but fuck, we got to win today.
Mhm.
Back, when we were dominant, a couple years ago, the teams that were, and like just how good you had peak Madrid, peak Barcelona, peak Bayern Munich. City was still, a tough team. You still had Liverpool, Atletico, like Dortmund even too. Like tough teams. And dude, I look at it now and like, no, like, yeah, okay, Madrid, great team. City, they won last year, still have a phenomenal team. But I look at these teams and nobody, even if my team was in, nobody scares me.
Yeah.
Like I like the competition now, man. It's so balanced. I feel that like literally, like remember when we look and you look at the back and you're like, when the hell could like a PSV one or Real Sociedad, like this could be that year where like a nobody, or like when Porto won, I was like,
but see,
how the hell did Porto win a Champions League? Now I get
go
why.
back a second. You said it's more well balanced, but not in a good way, right?
But not in a good way. No. Does that mean
are you saying it's better now?
No.
Okay.
It's not like you're gonna like top competition. Everybody's good, and it's anybody. It's literally anybody can win because nobody's like that dominant anymore. Yeah. Like it's the skill and like not take away from any of these players because like these teams they still have phenomenal players on them. They're still great teams, but they're not like those dynasties that we once saw a couple years ago. So I mean, this year I could see an underdog taking it, but as of right now, my three that I would say probably are the most favorites to win and I could actually see winning would be Real Madrid, obviously, still have a phenomenal team. When we see them at the beginning of the season, just in top form, Bellingham just getting there and like just easing right into that team, no problem, just took over, was scoring every game. They got a deadly team. They have weaknesses. They could be beat, but they're a strong team and a team I think to look out for. The next one, obviously, is the champions, Manchester City. I mean, they won it last year. They finally got over that hump, so they kind of know what it takes to get there.
Yeah, they got the monkey off their back.
Exactly, the season's long. They can pick up that form right at the end where they need it and go back to back. But they can also be derailed because again, they're not as dominant as that Real Madrid or Barcelona was back in the day. They don't have that fear that they'll put into people. The last team, and I hate to say it, and I mean I'd probably put them looking at the competition probably at the top right now because everyone just underestimates them and they're just a fucking like from depth and they're a strong team and they know even on and off the ball they play deadly and it pisses me off is Inter. Like I hate admitting it, but it's true, man. Like they have a very good team. After Conte, Inzaghi came over, took over this team, and with the guys they brought in with King Marotta, the guy just fucking any team he goes to, he just does amazing work. You see this team is they're ready, they can win it. They got the depth for it, they got everything. And obviously, with the help of a little bit of luck on their side, they haven't really dealt with any major injuries to like their major stars. So that also helps in, a long season because anything can happen and you lose a star, it completely changes your, like let's say Martinez or Barella goes down for them, that could change the season for them. But as things stand right now, I would have to say, Inter is that sleeper that no one's really thinking about, and then PSG, fuck them, Real Madrid and City. Okay. What would you say?
For me, I think you kind of leaked I screwed up. Sorry. That's what I just clicked.
I know. You fucked me up. You're looking at the things, and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. So, for me, my three teams, I'm gonna go with. I don't know if City has what it takes. I feel like there's turmoil there. Finally, I think there's starting to be a little bit of broken relationship between Haaland and his assist partner, his assist king over there. I still think obviously City's a fantastic team. It's going to take a lot to beat them. But I don't think City is that team this year. I know that's bold. I know everyone's going to tell me zero ball knowledge, but that's perfectly fine. I think my three teams are in no particular order. I'm going to go with Real Madrid, Inter, and PSG. Now, that's why I clicked on PSG because I was going to allude to it and get to it.
If any year is PSG's year,
I think
it's this year, man.
That's the thing,
it's
right?
wide open.
Okay. I'm going to do a brief little segment, like little thing about PSG and why I think that this might be their year.
I actually want to hear this.
Because, like, for me, okay, PSG's always been that team is, like, they should be there. They are that team. They're those guys. You know what I mean? They got Messi. They got Neymar. They had Mbappe all at once, and they couldn't do shit. Then they finally had that dream start against Barcelona's peak MSN, you know, and they were beating them second leg and last-minute fucking goal, you know? There was always something. This year though, I don't like. I feel like there's nothing that could realistically. It's Mbappe's last year. I'm hoping at least, and he's fucking a man of his word. So let's not quote me there because I actually don't know what that Ninja Turtle and what he does. But let's just say it actually is confirmed 100% his last year. This will be his swan song.
Yeah.
This is finally his team. There's no other superstar in this team.
I mean, like you have all these guys playing for him right now.
You know what I mean? Like everything leads to Mbappe, and we saw what a special talent he actually is. As much as I hate saying it because I don't like Mbappe, he has 21 goals in 20 league matches. You know, obviously you're gonna look at me and say, "Oh, it's a farmer league." Yes, I agree, but that's still an impressive feat, man. Yeah. You can't say like it's not impressive that this guy is banging in a goal a game. Essentially,
I watched that Champions thing on Netflix and like watched that. Like I just watched the final episode, like in the finals, and like. It seemed like the performance that he had in the finals, like
that's what
I'm like
mean,
you. I
man.
hate to admit it, especially like with him, but
like, and I think if there's any year for him to do it, it's this year. You know, they have Warren Zaire-Emery, young wonder kid, 17 years old. He's turning into a monster. And what other coach to get them like a midfield maestro out of him than Luis Enrique? You know what I mean? He's at the helm. I fucking love Luis Enrique. I rate him very highly. Probably one of my favorite coaches of all time. And, you know, he has guys like Fabio Ruiz. Okay, yes, he was good on Napoli. But then you saw him fall off, and nobody even rated him. But now he's performing well. You have Marquinhos, that veteran presence. You have Hakimi. Nuno Mendes is going to be coming back from injury shortly. You have Donnarumma, who is top 3 goalies in the world. You know, they're fully healthy. They have a good rotation going on. They have a comfortable lead against Real Sociedad. And, you know, like, if they get matched up with another favorable team, I could see them making that push because, you know, it's always like the next round. It's not this round of 16 that gives them the trouble.
So it's
the next round after that, the quarterfinals, that it's for some reason they just can't get over that hump. And once they do, I think you'll see like a City-esque performance where they just become unstoppable.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, you do have Inter. I hate to give the credit to Inter, like you said too, but man, one of the best defenses in Europe. One of the most deadliest strike duos in Europe right now in Thuram and Martinez. Their midfield, they don't even have a recognizable defensive mid. And yet they still have that defensive solidity and defensive coverage from their mid. You know, like it's a well-oiled machine. They got depth. Maybe their depth is a bunch of nobodies to the world. Fine. But in January, they strengthened up on wing back, one of their weaker positions. They got Tejan Buchanan, who I don't think anyone's going to stop him in the last 10 minutes when he does come on the field because of that crazy speed he has. They have 2 strikers off the bench in Arnautovic and Sanchez. Sanchez I don't rate, but you know he's going to work hard.
Available.
You know, like he's available. You have your midfield that you don't want to play Mkhitaryan and you play Fratesi, who, lest we forget, last couple games with Italy, he scored the game winners. You know, those late runs, like solid fucking player.
Yeah.
Bastoni, one of the best center backs in the world right now. Like it's very tough, and everyone's sleeping on Inter. Everyone sleeps on the Italian teams in general because, they're broke. Yeah. You have to make free transfers to build a team. Yeah, I get it. But look what Lazio did to Bayern Munich. And I hate saying that. You'll never hear me fucking compliment them again. But Lazio manhandled Bayern Munich.
But Joel, again, you look at a midfield of De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and who else is and Rodri, and then you look at Inter's and it's Henrik Mkhitaryan, Hakan, and Barella. Okay, other than Barella, just because he kind of, the only reason people rate him and know of him is because the Euro Cup and how well he played in that.
Yeah.
Other than that, like those 3, you showed that to some people compared to like midfield. Like perfect example, United's midfield. You compare them to, everyone would be like, "Oh, United! Dude, look at the players like Bruno, Casemiro, whatever." But in reality, Inter midfield, they probably play better than them 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
but no one rates him because then they don't have the names. The names, they're ugly names.
But
No one cares for them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what kind of irritates me. Like everyone's like, oh, how's Italy ranked number 1 in the world? It's very simple, like, okay, hate to bring up Roma, and I agree, Conference League is a Mickey Mouse trophy, but that's still deemed a European trophy. Roma won that. Next year they were in a Europa League final, and on top of that, Fiorentina was in a Conference League final, Inter was in a Champions League final,
and we had 3 Italians in the semifinals.
Had 3 Italians in the semis, 2 in the Europa League semis.
People to forget that.
You know what I mean? Like we had Juve and Roma in Europa League last year.
We don't want to talk about that.
Yes, obviously not, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why they're number 1.
Yeah. They
may not have the glitz and the glamour, the money to offer, but it's still a well-oiled team. They will put up a fight against anybody.
No, I agree.
Like Bayern Munich had 0 shots on target. 0 shots on target. Harry Kane had 0 shots on target. The best striker in the world that England's ever had. Literally couldn't get a shot against Provedel and Romagnoli. Let that sink in for a second and then talk to me about how Italian teams are trash. Sorry, just got a little passionate there. It just irritates me.
You're not wrong.
That's the thing. I just hate that narrative that like, oh, bro, even a bottom side Premier League team could dick down an Italian team. No, it's not true, man. Like, I'm sorry, it clearly isn't true. Man. Like, it's not how it works anymore. But speaking of dicking down, Mbappe is leaving PSG, and Madrid is hoping to lock him down.
Finally. After getting dicked down for 3 years.
Dicked down for 3 years.
We made it work.
No, I thought I was going to ignore the high five. But yeah, Mbappe was supposed to go there in 2017 from Monaco for like 140 million. He's like, no, I'm not ready. Soon.
We'll stay in France.
Yeah. Last year he was supposed to go until they offered him the whole
like
club.
2 years ago, man, he was supposed to go originally.
No, but last year too.
I know, but 2 years ago, that's when it started again. And then last year was the whole, like, it heated up.
4 times then. Okay, last year they offered him, Real Madrid gave him the keys, and then he's like, no, but I have the keys and the castle now, so I don't know.
Give me the castle. Give me the castle.
How much free money they're gonna have after offloading Mbappe.
Dude, that's why they're like, he's leaving. They're like, all right, we're gonna activate the Oshiman's release clause and Leao. They're like, wait, not one? No. We're gonna do both, please. Thank you.
Dude,
and maybe one more.
They're literally saving 300 million.
Yeah, that's why they're gonna go and spend it crazy this summer.
So this is gonna be a huge offseason. If this is a big if, and this is why I'm saying if, because I don't trust Mbappe. That's my thing.
Me too. I see him pulling some all of a sudden he signs for Barca or something, and Barca has money for him.
Exactly.
All of a sudden,
somehow they open up another financial lever. And they sold they
start selling some more grass.
They sold a piece of grass to some other like a drug company. Pfizer buys them now. I don't know. But yeah, Al, let's talk about this move if he does go over. Let's speak in a hypothetical world that is all done and dusted.
We've seen this in the past, and we've seen how it turned out. We're not going to talk
about the validity. We're going to talk about if he's there.
And we've talked in the past that, like, oh yeah, dude, done deal. He's pretty much signed. Fab even said so, and then all of a sudden,
we try to learn from our mistakes. Here,
if he ends up going there, I think it was. I mean, it was a move that was always going to happen. Mm-hmm. He was always going to go there. Like we just talked about before in watching that final. He's a special player. He's one of those players that you knew was going to end up on a Real Madrid one day because he just has that natural gift of just
changing the game.
Exactly, and just being that difference maker. So, it's not a shock to me that he's going there. If it does happen, I just want finally the saga will be over.
Yes.
But a part of me is just I'm seeing that whole when did Madrid go out and buy Ronaldo and Beckham for the Galacticos again? When was that? In the 2000s? I'm thinking it's the same thing, man.
16-year-old Messi.
I'm thinking it's the same thing. Maybe not with Barca, because everyone I see on TikTok, everyone's hyping up that young kid from Barca, and they're comparing all the years, and they go, "This guy's the next Ronaldinho and Messi, dude." Basically, he's gonna beat all of Real Madrid.
Okay, he is a
relax.
Good player,
he looks good.
He looks
relax. Let him get there and let him cook. Let him see what he can do.
He could become another Isa Cuenca.
Exactly. That no one knows about. So, a part of me, it's I'm kind of getting those kind of vibes, and I think that that you might see in a couple year go by where they start kind of getting rid of some of their bigger stars and kind of make this more Mbappe's team and have kind of great players, but kind of role players, like Ronaldo had on that team. Like Ronaldo, like that team was pretty much built for him, but they were still like everyone on that team was a star. They were pretty much all captains for their national teams. Like he had a phenomenal team around him.
Yeah.
I just think that this team here, there's too many egos, and I don't see them clicking. I genuinely don't.
Yeah. See, everyone's saying it's going to be sick because you're going to see a front three
at the beginning. Oh, it's going to be hype.
Well, it's going to be
sick.
like Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. But what did they really do?
Yeah.
You know, and I think I'm honestly, dude, I'm going to agree with you. I honestly don't see Madrid and Mbappe aren't a recipe I see being successful. To be honest, I honestly thought I would see Mbappe on Barcelona, fitting into that system more because of his technical qualities and his overall ability, whatever. And then I see Haaland going over to Madrid.
Yeah.
You know, that big name, number 9, especially like whatever. They've always had better number 9s than Barcelona. Barcelona's always had those creative players, you know? So I thought for sure Barcelona and Mbappe were a better recipe, but seeing him there, I don't understand how it would all fit. And everyone's saying you're going to put Mbappe in the middle of Rodrigo and Vinicius with Jude Bellingham behind them, and then Valverde, Tchouaméni, or Camavinga, whatever it is. But at the same time, like I question how it's all going to piece together and actually be successful. Somebody's getting sacrificed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whether it's Rodrigo or Vinny, and I think it's going to be Rodrigo. Just when he earned his stripes as a starter,
I think it'll be Vinny.
You think so?
I think it'll be Vinny.
Yeah.
Because he's got that little, like, he's got that touch of stardom already now. You know, he's come up in those big moments. He's been that big player. You know, Mbappe comes in, he's not going to be that main guy like he was. Like Mbappe, like, dude, he's a fucking phenomenal player. For as much as I hate to admit it, like, he's phenomenal, and he's going to steal the show. And I feel like that's going to cause tension or whatever it is between him and Vinny. And Vinny's going to, it's going to be like that Neymar, man. Like that's how, like, the Brazilians, like, they want to be, you know, the star on the team. They want to be that number one. And that starts getting taken away from him. I feel like over time it's going to get to him, and you're going to see him being the one, like, you know, pushing to leave and going somewhere else.
I could see that. You already see the arrogance of Vinny now.
That's what I mean. You know, just because he was shit written off. The guy was quiet. You never heard of him. Then he had like the last like 2 seasons that he was just he went off, and now this guy thinks he's king shit. Like, relax, dude.
I still think Vinny's actually overrated. Personally speaking, I think he has one trick up his sleeve, and that's it. And it's his crazy speed. That's all I think he offers you, and that's really it. But no, I still see, especially if Ancelotti's the coach, I think he knows how to manage egos very, very well. And if there's any coach to manage an ego, it would be him or a guy like Mourinho.
Yeah.
Or even like Pep, obviously, but Pep will never coach Real Madrid, so it's not even an option.
Okay, that's not an option.
I still think it's going to be Rodrigo that gets sacrificed just because he's the more humble person out of the 3. You know, I could see them maintaining this narrow 4-1-2-1-2 with Jude behind the 2 strikers just because you're getting the best out of Jude.
Yeah.
It's a recipe that's working. Your other midfielders are doing well and stuff like that. Now it's either Vinny or Rodrigo that gets sacrificed. Why would you change a whole formation again? Yeah. New tactic and all just to accommodate all 3 of them, you know? Or sorry, all 4. I do think it's a crazy bit of business.
It is. But like, I mean, like, Real
Madrid is literally built for the next 10 years.
Yeah, dude, they're
easily.
Not all those guys are going to be there in the next, I would say, 3 years. You're going to see, you know, they're going to have to start now that they finally got their Mbappe. Now they're going to sell off a couple of these guys. Like Tchouaméni, Valverde, man.
That's what you have to think about. They're in such, I don't know, man.
For sure they have.
I honestly could look in you and say, I don't think they have to, because I think the amount of revenue they'll bring in, the amount of Champions League and like maybe silverware even they'll bring in the next 3 years will be way more than enough.
I don't think it will.
You know, and like, well, that's the thing. I feel like this Mbappe deal is very make or break.
Yeah.
You know, if it works and they start getting that silverware, he gets the Champions League, they're winning titles and stuff like that. Yes, they made it. They don't have to sell anybody off. But if they even go 1 year without any sort of silverware, I think that's when you see like a Tchouaméni leave.
But Madrid have always done that, man. They buy a bunch of like players. Look at like prime example, like when they brought in like Ronaldo, Kaká. That started a whole thing. Then after that, they brought in Benzema, Di Maria, Ozil, all these guys. You know, they played together. What was it, 1 or 2 seasons? They won a Champions League, and then that season they sold Di Maria, they sold Ozil, they got rid of someone else in the midfield. I'm not gonna try to think of it now, but they got rid of some key guys and they made it work and brought in some other young talent, and that's what they do. That's their cycle. Once they like I can see like a guy like that's something like Vinny or like Valverde, them looking, they can cash in big, sell that guy, bring in somebody else that's young, and you keep in your Tchouaméni, your Camavinga, and your kind of your core.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? Like you saw them do it, but then you could also argue on the flip side. Look at that dynasty they had in the midfield: Casemiro, Cruz, and Modric.
Yeah, but
Casemiro left.
Remember last year in the summertime, they were even saying that if Madrid ended up bringing in Mbappe with his wages and everything, they would have to sell one of Tchouaméni, Valverde, or who else was the last one? Was it Camavinga?
Probably.
I think it was Camavinga. One of those three there. Which, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I could see that.
But that's the thing.
It's expensive to take on.
Well, no, 100%. It's not just
like any other player.
I was reading. Apparently, he's taking a pay cut.
Yeah, from the 100 mil that he's making an hour.
But his pay cut is literally he's still going to be getting 40 mil, and it's an 120 mil signing bonus.
Okay, so there you go.
120 fucking mil for a free agent
for signing a paper.
Literally, a free agent is getting a signing bonus of 120 mil
because you can do that.
It's absurd.
You're not paying any money for him.
Fucking crazy.
You're not paying any money for him, so it's better. It's beneficial for him.
Yeah, but that's the thing
because he would cost triple that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You guys like him and Haaland don't really have a price tag. I think it's just
made up with whatever.
Like you have
whatever
to throw
the team wants.
Club at them.
Yeah,
that's it. But I don't know. I could see them maybe holding on to them for a year, and I would say Rodrigo's the sacrifice still. Just because, again, I don't know if Rodrigo fits the Galactico mentality. Because he seems, out of all of them, the most humble. You know what I mean? So I would see him being offloaded to make space for, like, whatever, bring in some youngsters. You'll probably see a crazy deal for Brahim. You know, another loan somewhere else. And then he gets sold for 50 mil after that year. You know, something like that. Like an Odegaard-esque deal. You could see something like Ozil, too. Like that deal going through, not buying Ozil.
Yeah,
like a player of Ozil's caliber that's underrated, whatever. They'll definitely need, I think the biggest problem going forward with Real Madrid actually isn't their attack. Even if they didn't get Mbappe, I think their biggest problem area is their defense.
Yeah, big time.
Considering now, like, look, they're all injured and you have zero depth. And let's just say, even if when everybody's fit, you have an old Alaba.
Also keep it like they were also pretty much like they're working on and it's Madrid, so they're probably going to get it done. Alphonso Davies, so like that covers their left back problem.
Yes, but see that's the thing. I didn't even know they had a left back problem. They got that guy Fran Garcia to be a backup to Ferland
Mendy. Yeah,
and Mendy's a good player. Like,
I know, but I just don't think that like they rate him that high. Like think he's Madrid material.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like what kind of problem is that? You know what I mean? Like a good player, it's like, oh yeah, he's not that good. Let's get the best left back in the world instead. Like what? Yeah. What about your center back? So you have Nacho Fernandez playing alongside Tchouaméni in a Champions League game.
Militao was also like dead. He got hurt at the beginning of the season.
But I'm saying though, like their center back pairing.
They
respectfully
they
love
proper.
Rudiger.
Yeah.
I think Rudiger's a god.
But that's the next thing. You're going to see them now. They're going to look, okay, who can we sell? They make some money, and then they're going to go look to invest in their defense. Man, it's Madrid. They're a business. They're run very smart. We see them. Look at their cycles, man. I don't think they've ever had a bad cycle.
It's true, actually. I'd argue that their banter era was never in our generation. I was trying to think.
The most banter era that we've probably seen was like when they had R9, Beckham, all those guys, and didn't win anything
because they had Lassana Diarra as the CDF. That was their banter. That was it. And then they got that guy Royson Drenth or whatever his name was, who played in Stoke. Poor thing, I think, some shit team like that.
Poor thing.
But yeah. Mbappe to Real Madrid.
I think
we're having
things off.
We have a shorter episode. We are going away this weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little break. Give you guys a break from the teams. I know you've probably sad about that. I know you guys love them. But next week, I think I already got something cooking that I think it's just fits right in time. Maybe Roma. Who knows?
Wait, no, not like that. I meant players, but okay.
Sure. Either one, whatever, man.
We also want a trophy more recent than you guys.
Man, we'll do a team of players that have only won one Scudetto. Totti will be in the
I don't get it. I didn't even say half of a word.
Joe, you know I love you.
But whatever, guys, on that note.
Ending's off a little bit earlier today. It's going to be a shorter episode because we're heading up to the cottage for my bachelor party this weekend. So that's my birthday tomorrow. No big deal, guys. Relax. No big deal. Yeah, so what, dude? my birthday month.
I got a high five for my birthday.
Well,
and hurry the fuck up, Joes.
Oh, we got a cottage that we're probably gonna be really intoxicated at. So
yeah, I'm gonna be cooking the whole time.
Probably
naked.
Joe might get drunk and just start throwing up some videos on Ultra's TikTok. So keep an eye out for that.
If you hear me slurring my words and whatever, just know I'm not drunk, Mom and Dad.
He's definitely drunk. Guys, if you haven't already, and if you ignored Joe at the beginning of the episode, don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at AllCheckSci. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I think on that note, guys, we'll see you next week. We'll hear you next week. Joe, stop dancing. Stop dancing over there.
I'm a sign language person at concerts, even though
you're dancing beside it. What is this guy doing? Oh, he's doing sign language. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I was explaining for those of you that can't hear me through your headphones. Wait. Because it's sign language.
And they wouldn't be listening.
Whatever, man. Anyways,
guys, thank you guys for listening. We'll hear you next week. We'll see you next week. Ciao.
See you later.